Of course, you are talking
well
about
made,
successes.
Gara.
Yes, we have won.
Yeah, point well made, definitely there. Let's talk about the role of government in all of this. Would you say the political will for sports to actually flourish in the country is lacking?
Of course. There is no political will, and that is why I tell you there is inconsistency. There is inconsistency in policy. Every time, if you look at it in the last 57 years, we have had Federal Ministry of Sports, Culture, Youth, Information joined together. At some point, we have Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports and Information. At some point, we have National Sports Commission. We now came back to Federal Ministry of Sports and Education. At some point, now we had National Sports Commission again. Now we have Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports. As important as the youth development is, I am sure those who tried to merge this time around youth and sports knew that you need the youth to really propel sports because they are the main actors. But unfortunately, the reverse is the case. We have not seen that synergy between youth development and sports. Sports has the capacity to provide the needed employment generation we need jobs to create in this country. Sports now is a business. It is no longer a recreation. It is no longer a social service. All over the world, countries have now moved from social service in sports into a full-fledged economic and business transformation.
Yes,
and the use of
really
sports to even promote their foreign relations agenda and the rest of it.
Correct.
Unfortunately, that is not the case in this country.
Yeah, we need to
give you two examples, which is a very...
Yes, we need to move on quickly from there. Sorry to cut you there, Shripe Gar Gombe. Let's talk about the National Olympic Committee, the sporting federations, and the Ministry of Sports itself. How would you rate their impact over the years?
Well, if you look at the opening chapters of the National Nigeria Olympic Committee, the Nigeria Olympic Committee, the opening chapter said it should be an independent private organization. Unfortunately, it is not independent. It is not independent, and it is no longer private. The office they are using is owned by government. The vehicles they are using are owned by government. The staff they have, they are owned by government. That is not the case. Check the entire Olympic movement all over the world. I have never seen where government pays or employs the staff of national Olympic committees. Only in Nigeria, which is even against its own charter. That is a contradiction. Secondly, we have 36 or 37 Olympic and non-Olympic sports. Only the Nigerian Football Federation, or rather Nigerian Football Association, because it's the only one sports association in Nigeria that is established by law, which is wrong. It's also a contradiction. If you look at the opening chapters of the status of Nigerian football, it says it should be a private organization of an associative nature.
All right.
So how can a private organization of an associative nature be established by an act of the National Assembly and be collecting money appropriated by the same National Assembly? What happened to the other sports?
Okay.
For instance, that is why you always have conflict between the political administrators of our football and those who are really managing this in our football or generally our sports, this is sports federations.
You know,
because
I just have to...
They are affiliated
If you can hear me, I just have to quickly ask you this. We're pressed for time, but the picture looks, from everything you have said, the picture looks bleak. But if you can, in the next, in probably less than a minute, what's the way forward? Where do we go from here? What can be done to have that partnership between the government and those handling our sports and ensure that we truly grow and not walking around in circles? If you can do that for us quickly.
Let me tell you quickly, like you said, everybody wants to go to sports because there is free money on sports. Sports in Nigeria today is the most corrupt institution. There is free money that people don't account for. If we are going to be holding our sports administrators accountable, nobody will be rushing there. That is number one. Number two, to solve that problem, there should be a transitional disengagement of government from funding sports. Let the government be giving grants. Let sports be independent. Everywhere in the world, sports is a private sector-led institution. The government only provides the enabling this environment. The third point is that we should go back and look at all the committee's reports that have been lying down there. We have the late Emeka Memorial Committee's report on sports. We have the late Obomudia Committee on sports. We have the Vision 2010 Committee reports on sports. We have the Vision 2020 Committee reports on sports. We have the General Ushola Williams Committee on sports reform. Let us bring all these reports together, harmonize them, and come up with a single document, because we don't have a straightforward policy. And the government has no business with sports. Sports should be left to the private sector, let the individual. Okay. That's why you see, you have never had the president of Rotary International quarreling with any government institution because they are private.
Okay. But yeah, I want to thank you for your time. I mean, everything that you have said, thank you for your contributions. That was Shuaib Gara Gombe. Thanks for your insights. Unfortunately, we are pressed for time. Let's quickly go on another break. When we return, there's just so much for you on Sports This Morning.